Hello, it's very nice to have you watching my YouTube channel again. We've been talking about depression, and today I want to venture into another type of depression. Last week I talked about dysthymia, which is clinical depression where you stay depressed for a period of time. However, that depression doesn't make you unproductive. You continue with your life, but the feeling of vitality in life and the feeling of joy and contentment eludes you. And so you may be very well functioning, but you have no happiness or joy in your life. And so it would be good if you experience those kinds of feelings to see a therapist and be able to explore what is going on with you. Today I want to talk a little bit about manic depression. Manic depression, in other words, is called bipolar, which means that a person tends to live on two polars, where you're very active, you are manic, you don't sleep, you have a lot of energy. And during that high, which is what we call mania, is you can have even ideas of grandiosity, where you feel like you're a very powerful person, you talk big, you want to meet President Obama, or you want to fly to the Arctic or something. It just, you have this grandiosity around you that you feel like a very powerful person. And other people, they may not have those big ideas of being great people, but they may act and do things that are inappropriate. For instance, a person may shop until they have maxed out their credit cards or their bank accounts, or a person may go on a drinking spree for 3, 4, 5 days without a care in the world, or a person may go on a sexual escapade where they just don't care who they sleep with. They just are on this high that they want to do certain things which they are not getting tired about. They are not even thinking about the consequences of that. And usually after that high, after that manic episode, that person will then go into the other polar, which is now the depression, and they become very, very depressed. It can be also that they are depressed because of what they have been doing when they have been in mania. And also they may feel very, very exhausted because of what they have been doing. And so if you know someone, or you yourself experience these highs, very high highs and very low lows, it is important for you to get checked out. It is important for you to visit your doctor, especially if you know of a psychiatrist. They might be able to diagnose you. This diagnosis needs to be made by a psychiatrist. A therapist can help you to identify these symptoms and then give recommendation for you to see a psychiatrist. Usually with bipolar, you do need to be on medication. Sometimes it's the people that are committing suicide. They may be dealing with bipolar and we do not know. They may have the moods with the very highs and very lows, and when they are very, very low, then you find them wanting to die because of the way they feel. So the medications that a psychiatrist would give you, the medication would bring you into what we call a baseline, so that your emotions are not too extreme. They are not too low and they are not too high, so that you can now go through what we call talk therapy, behavioral therapy, to be able to know how to manage this mood swing. So those are the two major parts of depression or depressive diagnosis that you might get. Now, let me talk about risk factors or things that might cause people to be depressed. Number one, if you have gone through a loss, deep loss, you've lost a job, you've lost a spouse, you've lost a child, you've lost something that is significant to you. You may have what we call adjustment disorder with depressive symptoms. So breakups, for instance, you break up from a relationship and you find yourself unable to get out of bed, unable to focus at work, you are crying too much, you are angry a lot. That can cause you to go into a depressive episode. And so, and other things that happen is there are some people who have what we call chemical imbalances that can cause them to go into depression. And so basically anything that causes you to have a transition in life can lead you to go into depression. Not to mention, of course, things like rape and child molestation and domestic violence. And when I talk about domestic violence, it's not just for spouses, but also for children who have to live within that environment. They can develop what we call depression. And also teenagers also tend to deal with depression just because of the transition from being children into becoming young adults. And so we do need to be aware that these are some of the risk factors. And of course now, as I end this video, we also need to know that if you're dabbling into alcohol and you're dabbling into any kind of substance, psychoactive substances, drugs, you will develop depression in one way or the other. So until I see you next time, we will continue with this conversation. Keep watching and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.